that Tony Washington play was a huge factor in not just the game and the outcome of the game, but Tony being named the defensive MVP of that game. Marcus Mariota was the offensive MVP of that game. And I think it would only be appropriate to have our Rose Bowl episode feature an MVP from the Rose Bowl game. And you know, Duck fans, anybody that knows me, I've got a particular favorite here, because one of my favorite roommates I ever had at the University of Oregon, and I was his first roommate there, was Lavasier Tuinei, wide receiver and MVP of the 2012 Rose Bowl.
With us for our very special sixth guest on Once a Duck is one of my best friends in college, Lavasier Tuinei. Some of you may refer to him as LT because you had no idea how to pronounce his name, but learn it. This man was the Rose Bowl MVP, and that is some trivia knowledge you will want to have someday. How are you doing, LT?
I'm doing good, man. Doing real good. Thank you for having me on the show, man. Appreciate it.
So when you came to Oregon, we met right away. In fact, I was one of the first Ducks you met because they just shoved us in as roommates. I all of a sudden learned I had a brand new roommate coming.
Yeah, you had another roommate before me, but somehow I got stuck with you, man. But we had a nice little suite going on, though, at Barnhart.
We absolutely did, man. Back when Barnhart was the upgraded luxury way of living. Now it's just like people laugh at me when I say that. What's it like to you to see Oregon now and just Eugene now compared to when we came in?
Man, Oregon is, when I got there, it was different. You know what I mean? It's something I never experienced. Not a lot of people know, but I never took a visit to Oregon. You know, so I didn't know what to expect. You know, I went to high school in Indiana, and then went to a junior college down in SoCal. I had some little bumps on my way to Oregon, but I never took a trip, and I was very shocked, culture shock, man. There's literally nothing. You know, when you fly into Eugene, there was nothing but land around the airport. Mm-hmm. But now, man, it's growing. The culture's changing. It's not your typical Oregon. You know what I mean? It's a lot of natives from California that are coming up. You know, so I mean, it's growing in the right direction. You know what I mean? So especially when it comes to the football team, they're changing the game, getting all these athletes. That's wild.
Absolutely. I remember when you came in, coming out of Golden West Junior College, we all thought you right away just looked like one of those freakish athletes Oregon wasn't really picking up at the time. I mean, you were a wide receiver, came in freaking taller than I was, is 6'6", and just you had incredible speed, hands. I mean, we knew right away, we're like, man, this guy's going to play. It's too bad he only has 3 years to play too. What was it like coming in out of the junior college picture and then stepping into Oregon? And what was that talent difference like for you?
Well, you already know, man. Like, I came over from Golden West, and I mean, I was more nervous than anything. I mean, obviously the talent is next level from JUCO. I mean, I went against good talent down there. The reason why I was able to play in Oregon. But when I first got there, I got dogged. I was getting killed out there. And you have Coach Kelly yelling at me, "Let's go, Skinny. Come on, Skinny." I was 6'5", yeah, I was tall. I had some good hands. But I was like $180 out there. You know what I mean? So I was fast, but your boy was a stick out there doing his thing. But, yeah, I remember one practice, dude, you remember when Kenyon was a corner?
Yep.
Remember when he played corner? Yeah, he was dogging me. I couldn't get off the line for the longest. I couldn't get off the line. But, I mean, I learned to adapt to the game and to the talent, and I was able to work my way up to the starting position. So talent was for sure a huge difference, but I was lucky enough to adapt to it.
And real quick, the year you did step up and become a full-time starter for 10 games, I believe, that season, and the only games you missed were because of injury, but it was that national championship appearance season, wasn't it? What did that mean to you, LT?
It was good. I mean, I got hurt like close to the end. I got a couple injuries.
Game.
Yeah, cow game. I broke my shoulder blade. Yeah, so I broke my shoulder blade that game, and I was out for like a few weeks. And then I come back, first day of practice, I partial tear my MCL. And that was like 4 weeks before the national championship game. And, I mean, I was still able to start that game, but it really slowed me down, super slowed me down. But I was lucky enough to be able to still play that game, which I was blessed to be part of.
LT, during your time at Oregon, you definitely grew a lot as a player and eventually became that Rose Bowl MVP that a lot of fans remember you as. Tell us a little bit, especially during that 2011 season when you were coming off a season that ended in injury. What kind of work were you doing on and off the field to kind of prepare yourself for that eventual leap that you took in the bowl game?
I did a lot of Pilates, dude, a lot of rehab, extra rehab. At Oregon, we had the top facilities in our athletic training room. So I was able to stay on top of where my body needed to be, you know what I mean? So I kind of hit a few bumps on the way during the summer, but I was able to overcome it and have a great season, my senior season.
Absolutely. And after your senior year, you had a couple opportunities in the NFL. And then, looking up, you ventured up to the CFL where I tried. You even went to a football league in China, LT. What was that like?
Yeah, it was a new league to go test it out. I mean, I was done at that time. I was bouncing around in the league. I was only active for 3 games when I was with the Seahawks, so I didn't get to do too much. Injuries got in my way there. Playing in CFL got in my way there. I kind of cut it off, you know what I mean? I was done with football, you know what I mean? I had to get away, and then actually I was living in Spain for 6-7 months, and I got a call to play in China. I was like, okay, why not? You know what I mean? It's only 3 hours, 4 hours away from where I was living at the time. So I just decided to go test it out. And it was a great experience, great players. A lot of the all-star players from the AFL were out there and were able to travel all over China and see different cities, man, and interact with a totally different culture, which was amazing. So that was a cool experience.
And now, you've taken that love for football, that passion, it's come back, and I see that you're spreading it down to the kids. What's it like for you coaching? Tell us what you're doing now and what it means to you to be able to pass on the lessons and experiences you've learned through football to others.
Oh, man. So after football, I came back to Eugene, and I coached at Churchill High School for a couple of years. It was good. It was a lot of fun, but it was a new route that I was trying to take. So I did that. Politics got in the way of things when I was trying to do off the field, so I had to stray away from the coaching world. So I started my own training facility out here in Eugene. It's called MVP Performance Center, which is a nonprofit. And then I have a for-profit called MVP. And pretty much, man, what I bring to the table is mentorship, counseling. I also help kids with a counseling service that I'm working with Saul Patu. Saul Patu used to be a former player for Oregon, played in the NFL for about 7 years. And we have this cool little recruiting service that we set up for the kids. So, athletically, I'm trying to take these kids to the next level that they've never seen before, you know what I mean? And Eugene's a little behind on that. So hopefully I'm able to change some lives while I'm out here.
LT, coming up here for the current Oregon Ducks is that Rose Bowl game. We mentioned it a little bit earlier, but I kind of want to get your perspective on it. You said you went to high school in Indiana, but you were able to play some JUCO in SoCal. You understand, just as any football player does, the importance of the granddaddy of them all. You're headed into that game. You know you have to face Wisconsin. What's kind of going through your head, maybe the day of, as you're preparing in the locker room, knowing that you're about to participate in one of the most storied bowl games there is?
I came in with a lot of confidence. My roommate at the time was Josh Huff. And, man, we were talking about the game all week, and me and him just had a feeling that one of us were going to get off. And I promise you, the day before, we were telling each other, one of us is going to win MVP. And it just so happened I won. But going up, game of, I had tunnel vision, man. I was completely focused. I was in it. I was one with the field. I was one with everything. You know what I mean? I was enjoying it. The environment was great. I'm from Southern California, so a lot of my family was there, which is, great for me. You know what I mean? Because being in Eugene, not a lot of my family was able to come and watch me play. So, I'm just a different player when I have my family there. You always want to show out when your family's there. So, man, like I said, I was in the zone. And then I had one of the best games of my life. So, yeah.
And not only are you immortalized by one of the best games in your life in that Rose Bowl, but last year when we met up before the UW game at Autzen, you pointed out to me that you and I are both celebrating on the poster on one of the sides of Autzen. And what's it mean to you when you hear Oregon fans everywhere that remember you or appreciate you? What's that Oregon fan spirit like and that support like?
Man, it's pretty amazing, man. You know what I mean? Just to leave an impact like that and such a great program, and people still remember you. So, I mean, it really shows a lot. Like, they see all the hard work you put there. I don't think a lot of people know what these student athletes go through. You know what I mean? And it's pretty bearing. You know what I mean? So the fact that they are still recognizing what I've done in the past, and it really means a lot to me. And I take that to heart. And that's why my love for Oregon will never change.
Absolutely, man. I love hearing it.
The last one I've got for you, LT, it's a pretty simple one. It's a pretty simple yes or no. Are you going to be making the trip down there to watch Oregon play this bowl game?
Oh, man, I don't know. I want to really bad, you know what I mean? But, I mean, I got obligations I have to do for the kids out here, too. So, I mean, I'm also the type, man, I really like to watch games on TV. You know what I mean? I feel like it's a better view. But I really want to go. But, you know, like I said, I have some things that I need to figure out here first before I can leave.
Absolutely, man. And that makes sense. We'll be thinking about you. Just one last chance for all the potential parent Ducks listening or even young Ducks out there. How can they find you and your services?
Go to MVPperformancecenter.com or go on my Instagram. It's MVP Performance Center. I mean, it's just anything. Just look up MVP Performance Center in Eugene, man. We got the best services right now. We're the only training facility that does speed, agility, quickness, and weight room training. So if your kid needs some help, I'm here to help.
Awesome. LT, thank you so much for doing this, and I love you, man. Go Ducks.
All right. Love you too, man. Go Ducks.
LT has and always will be one of my favorite Duck players of all time. I wish we got 4 years with the guy, because the fact he only had 3 years to play too means Duck fans really didn't get to see everything that at least all his teammates got to see in practice. And beyond that, there is not a better dude to come out of Oregon football. I mean, he is just one of the nicest people up there with Mark Asper, who we had on last episode, Sam.
It's just so great to be able to hear from somebody who might not come across your radar all the time, but just to be able to check in with him as well as hear his thoughts from arguably his best performance as a Duck. It's always great to be able to hear from people on this show, especially people with such a story to tell.
Yeah, we love hearing from everyone. Everybody we bring on as a guest, all the fans that we end up using their ideas and commentary. I think everything we have in this show so far has just been exactly what we wanted for Once a Duck.